All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Kyle Colville, and welcome to my presentation about the country of Peru. So, just some quick info about the country. It is located in South America with the capital city of Lima. It is home to a section of the Amazon rainforest, the Machu Picchu Mountains, and it is also the home of an ancient Incan city. The current population is just under 34 million people, and the country itself has strong historical roots and culture dating back, like I said, especially to the Incan people that kind of founded the country and got it going to where it is today. So, starting into the economics of Peru, it was recently reported that the GDP is just over 250 billion. Peru has the sixth largest economy in all of Latin America. Peru is classified as an upper to middle class income economy by the World Bank. Peru has experienced significant growth in the decade leading up to the pandemic, especially between 2005 and 2016. They're growing year over year at a pretty fast rate. But since the pandemic, they have struggled to really recover, and that has included a 2023 recession as well. Peru is a large promoter of a free trade economy. That's a lot of the exporting and importing they do, and a lot of the ways that they get what they need to survive is from these trade deals that they have with other countries. Major trade alliances that they're in include the Andean Community with other Latin American countries, the Pacific Alliance with some Asian countries, and the CPTPP, among others. So Peru is a huge exporter, and because of their mountainous landscape and the Amazon rainforest, a lot of that comes from their mining industry. And most of the exports are minerals such as copper, silver, and gold. So, looking into the politics of Peru, they've been struggling recently with a lot of political instability, and that has largely limited their potential economic growth, especially post pandemic. So, just for an example, they've had four presidents since 2020. So, basically, every single year, things have been completely shaken up and something's changing, which has really hurt the country in terms of trying to find that stability to move forward from the pandemic. This has also led to a lot of social unrest among the people, which has also further complicated things. Peru is still labeled as a high growth potential nation. Should they overcome these political issues, they do have the potential to become, much higher standing in the world in terms of their trade with other countries and just improving their own GDP and wealth. Enhancing civil service systems and increasing public investment would go a long way to becoming a high income country. So, looking at some of the statistical analysis of Peru, they do have an overall doing business score of 68.7, which ranks them 76th overall in the world. Their best rank is in terms of getting credit, where they have a high strength of legal rights index. And their worst rank is in terms of starting a business, which is largely due in part to the very lengthy time to register a new business in the country, which is currently listed at 28 days. This could also be a factor with the political instability, which adds a lot of unnecessary processing, especially if procedures are changing every so often. That makes it really hard to know exactly what to do and to make sure things are going through the court system correctly in terms of registering your business. So they have a global innovation index as well, which ranks them at 75th overall. They have knowledge, tech outputs, and institutions as their worst overall ranks, but human capital and resource are their best, and research are their best ranks, which tells me that they have the people and the capabilities to improve their global innovation index, but they just aren't really progressing enough with it, as you can see from their knowledge, tech outputs, and institutions not being highly ranked. And then finally, their World Happiness Index has them at 65th overall, so a bit higher than the other two. Generosity, donations, and perceptions of corruption are their worst scores, with positive emotions scoring the highest. So, looking at how COVID kind of affected Peru, Peru was one of the countries hit the hardest by COVID. They recorded 6,500 deaths per million, which actually ranked them highest in the entire world. And on top of that, they had a huge increase in unemployment and poverty within the country, large in part due to these deaths, and partly because even though they acted so fast, their country has suffered from low public healthcare funding and a lack of facilities capable of dealing with a pandemic on this size. So one way Peru tried to relieve some of these issues and help their citizens get back into the swing of things is they allowed people to withdraw their pension funds earlier than they normally would. However, many people, especially with smaller pensions, actually drained a lot of their savings as a result, which, like I said, led to the increased unemployment and poverty as well. So, a combination of these issues with the pandemic, along with the political instability, has really contributed to Peru's overall stagnation post-pandemic. But like I said, they do still have the potential where if things start going the right way for them, they can become a much faster growing country, and see a new level of economic growth that would kind of move their country into the next echelon. And then here are my references. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something about Peru and have a good one.